The wild here doesn't whisper, it roars. Glaciers crack like thunder. Waterfalls carve paths through time. And in the middle of it all, she waits. Motor yacht unbridled. A sanctuary of warmth and refinement in the heart of Alaska's untamed frontier. Bears wander the shoreline. Whales breach on the horizon. Seals nap on drifting ice while you sip champagne on the aft deck. This isn't a cruise, it's a calling, and only the bold will answer. Now booking your next unforgettable charter, yachtunbridled.com or through your preferred charter broker.
Top of the morning, folks. It's Captain Liam here, Captain of the Motor Yacht Unbridled, currently in Seattle. Got my jumper on. It's a little chilly here, but I'm honoured to have Melanie White, the founder of Marathon for Mental Health, join me. How are you today, Melanie?
I'm very good. I got my run in this lunchtime, so I'm feeling very good.
Ah, you've got that warmth already.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was freezing. I'm just outside London, so it's not that warm here either.
And what time of days do you kind of do your running? Is it lunchtime one when it's kind of the middle of the day?
It has to be the beginning or the middle of the day. Otherwise, if it gets too late, I just won't get out.
Yeah.
So
we'll go into that. People are dying to hear
Yeah.
about this Marathon for Mental Health. As founder, where did it start? What was the ideology? Tell us a little bit. You got a background in yachting. You're now just north of London. Tell us a little background of Melanie. So I'm really excited personally.
Yeah, so the marathon came as a concept about a year ago. I've been working closely with Emma at Seize the Mind now for 5 years. We both experienced poor mental health when we were working as yachties throughout our 20s. We had a very similar shared history as yacht chefs. We did come past the depression that we had in yachting, and for both of us, we're going to go hard, suicidal ideation. But we did come past that, and we really believed and had fabulous careers. And quite often the narrative is, it doesn't quite meet past the really low points. And so we were quite clear when we set Seize the Mind up, we wanted to really give people the tools they needed to be able to stay mentally well on board. But I think as we got to the kind of approaching the 5-year mark, we'd trained about 2,000 seafarers by this point, and we always would direct people to Ice One's resources. Yeah. And Ice One's an incredible charity, International Seafarers Welfare Assistance Network, and they started in shipping and cruise, but they recognized the need for support in yachting, and they have some incredible resources that we're always signposting people to, also namely their yacht crew helpline. And
that's specifically for yacht crew, correct?
That's just for yacht crew. Wow. And it's such an amazing resource. And we thought, how are we getting 2,000 seafarers in now? And they still don't, the awareness is still not quite there. And so we work closely with Ice One anyway. And I approached them about a year ago and I said, I just think there's just an awareness piece missing. I don't think there is. I think it's just that. And it's just because yachting is quite a bubble.
Yeah.
If you've been in shipping and cruise for eons, it's pervasive, and it goes through, rigorous, employment schedules, it will be there.
It's corporate.
Yachting
is corporate world.
Corporate.
Commercial shipping is corporate world,
It is.
And it's structured.
It's structured, absolutely. And so I was like, I just think there just needs to be something that breaks through into yachting that is just a bit outside that corporate structure, really. Yeah. And so I said, I basically just wanted to put in place what I would have wanted as crew, really, when I was at my time. Like, you're working to the bone all season and you're craving that time off at the end. October's rolling around and you might get a bit more of a work-life balance. And you just think, I wish there was something wherever I was that could get me out and seeing the areas I'm in and moving my body and feeling good in that way. And so I said, look, what if we try and create a flexible marathon that's really accessible for as many crew as possible to partake in? Yeah. And in the process, try and encourage people to donate to the charity, but also become aware of the resources just by proxy, because you might find somebody that loves running or loves hiking, and they go out and meet someone else for this hike and they think that's what they're there for. But actually, the connection is what they're there for. And they might take home that information about Ice One.
Yeah.
And when they really need it in the thick of a season, next time they're in, that little seed's there, So in a weird way, some really passive marketing for Ice One.
To build awareness.
So that's, to build awareness. And so that's where it began. And then up until this point, it's been a whole year of knocking on people's doors like, do you want to do a flexible marathon? And building the troops to launch it this year.
There's a lot to unpack there, but when you talk, initially when you talk about marathon, people have a natural kind of aversion or a distance to it, or that's difficult. And then when you talk about mental health and depression, people have that same aversion. They're kind of like, oh, that's something I'm unaware of, or I feel it, or I don't, I'm not sure. So you've combined two really powerful things, and what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. I, from the bottom of my heart, cannot thank you enough. It changes my life every day when I kind of wake up and go, I have to do my 5 kilometers. I have to get to, for some reason, I'm 50 kilometers. And for me personally, when I started this with you, I had quite a bigger crew, but we've reduced the crew over winter. So at the moment, I'm trying to get some more crew involved, but it's like irrelevant. It's my responsibility to push forward and do it either way to raise awareness for Ice One. So I cannot thank you enough. And the community you've built, just beautiful people from New Zealand, Fiji, people like Xanthi from Wave Wellness. She's a lovely friend of mine and a big part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also been what was by default has been the most wonderful thing about it, is this really just lovely community of people. Like every single time there's a picture come up or a selfie or a video come up of somebody going out there just to get, even if they're, just walking in their lunch break, seeing people get out and connecting over that has been really amazing.
And wanting to share.
Wanting to share it.
Like some of those cliffs. Where were those cliffs? The sea cliffs in Malta, was it?
Yes. And she's amazing. So that's Katerina, who's she's on a 60 meter in Monaco, and she's been doing it, and she went away for the weekend. And so she was like, okay, I'll take my cap. I'm doing my walk while I'm there. And she went for a really beautiful sunrise hike that I don't know if she would have, pushed out the door that early if that, I don't know, there's something about there being this group mentality and also this challenge where it's just enough to feel like, oh, okay, I can do it, but it requires a concerted effort to show up for myself every time. That is quite special.
Well, that's the core of, addressing depression. I'm no expert, and you've got a lot of experience with Seize the Mind. It's a wonderful course, by the way. I've done the course. But it's, that opening that door and having that vulnerability. And that's what I implore crew to kind of, and family and my kids, and just be vulnerable. It's okay not to be okay. But how do you find that help? That's the challenge. And that's where Ice One and different organizations have come into yachting. In your experience, why do you think yachting creates such a difficult environment? Because it is different to merchant shipping, very different.
It is different. I think there are pressures that come with any form of luxury hospitality that are very acute. And that kind of pressurizing environment means everybody needs to be operating at a high standard. And you have to do in hospitality a lot of masking. You do a lot of smiling when you're on. You do a lot of, it's your job.
It's a show.
It's a show. You are running. You are on.
Let's be real.
and the show is running for a long period of time. Yes, you might have a
standard. At a high.
It's a huge amount to ask of people that everybody's going to have a bad day. But when also it's on for a long period, you might have back-to-back charters, or the owner's on for a long period of time, any of those things. And then naturally you aren't accessing your normal tools for support, whether or not it's being with your family or, being able to get off the boat for a run or exercise.
Or a dog or cafe.
Exactly. You can't access those things so readily. So that's one kind of coping mechanism taken out for you. And then you throw in other things that are really like building blocks of mental health, like solid sleep. There's alarms waking you up, or you might be on delivery and it's rough, or those things. And then you throw into the mix crew culture on board and how people are getting along and interpersonal relationships. That's hugely complex. And if you have that set, it's the best job in the world. If it's not there, it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. And so,
but even if it's set, it's not permanent. Like, what I've noticed, I'm 25 years at yachting and as a captain for 20 of it, but it's not permanent. Like, you have a great crew and we build it and we have a good energy, and then something happens, meaning you finish the season and then 2 crew leave, or if something happens and it's just, you lose that momentum. It's so hard to maintain that positivity consistently. And that's where I think the mental health first aid course and different courses at Season Mind and even Wave Wellness, the things they offer, it helps you with those tools to get through it, because it's not easy. Like, it really, the older I'm getting, the more I'm noticing and becoming more aware of the challenges that my crew and other crew face. And a lot of it's like the anxiety. I don't know if you've seen that. Like, when I see new crew join, like we had a day worker, and now she's going from 1 day a week or something to 3 days a week. And she's just so excited about it, but she's also nervous and anxious and it's the unknown. And it's kind of like, that leads into hopefully a positive experience, but it can easily lead in with the wrong leadership to a negative experience,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do think it's how to nurture people as individuals to get the best out of them, but also just, it doesn't stop the overall targets. And so it's how you balance that. I've got a question for you. I know I'm not being the one being interviewed, but for you, how is, like, if you've seen that relationship change, and I'm sure like it really impacts you, how you lead, but how do you best like look after yourself when you're in the thick of
it is a very personal question, in the sense that, I don't prioritize myself. My goal is to get the results for the clients, and the clients are the owners, the brokers, the crew. As a captain, that's your core. It's a selfless task. What do I do to, give myself strength? Have conversations like this, Melanie. Wake up in the morning at 7 o'clock. My son's not even up yet, meaning the sun with a light, not my son's son. It's coming up over Seattle, but conversations like this really help me kind of give power and kind of give me a better understanding of how I can be of better assistance and give me the tools. It's like Ice One. I have no problem calling them, and I probably will, just to see how the response is. And we all need help. You know what I mean? We all need more tools. There's a saying I always tell crews: you don't know what you don't know, and you can't be in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And that's something I say a lot, because it's like, if you don't know how to wash down a boat, or if you don't know how to do laundry, or you don't know you can't be in trouble for that. It's our job as a community, as a crew, and as an industry to help each other get through that, rather than to make people so accountable. And this industry is so relentless and it's so unsympathetic that it's hard to see what crew go through, and the pressure we put each other on. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
For me, it's conversations like this. It's time with my wife and my 2 children and dog, and it's finding people in the industry I can connect with that give me a bit more, we're going down the right path.
Yeah.
And this marathon for mental health, I've done 3 marathons before, about 5 years ago, and each one was probably the toughest thing in my life I've ever done mentally. And when this popped up, I said, I understand the vision here. I love this. This is not easy. To wake up every day and to do 5 kilometers or to do a walk. And, yesterday I did 4 miles running. I did a good time, but my left ankle's killing me today. I'm like, no. But I still have to do my 5 kilometers. So,
well, walk on the next one, please.
That's what my wife says, but I'm like, I need another pair of shoes. That's what I'm saying. I said, I need another pair of shoes. It's not my fault. It's the shoes' fault. But it is. It's definitely, it raises awareness for yourself and also the community industry.
Yeah, and also building in that time, because it's really hard. There's always something else that can fill that time.
Oh,
The jobs list is never ending. It will never end.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if that's, in the thick of a season, or even when you're entering a yard period when the jobs list is X long, and you've then got to build up for the next season or any of those things. Or even if you're juggling family life and being at sea. A lot of what we have seen also, like you've touched on it there, but like people go away and they have families at home, and their families have to adjust without their person, and the person on the boat has to adjust without their family.
Yeah.
And even those things, to be able to find things to cope with that distance is it's like unspoken, but we have it come through our training all the time, where it's just like, oh, well, I've got to do X amount of time now. And that's like a massive building block. So it's if you can then fill that absence with, okay, I will not work myself to the bone today, but I will try and get out for that 5K walk or connect with somebody else that is also doing it. That means a huge amount. I couldn't believe when we had somebody from Guernsey connect with Xanthi in New Zealand and go out and walk at the same time and do a video call.
Oh, wow.
And they
Lovely.
did, it was like 12 hours apart. So someone was walking in darkness and someone was walking as the day was beginning. And I thought, that's it. It's that connection piece to help you stay connected. And connected to yourself as well. It's really hard.
Very much so. And then, like I said, I keep going back to the yachting industry because that's what we're a part of, in a sense. And these crew, like we talked about family. Family is a very difficult thing because everyone's got this image of family as perfection and their own experience and their support network. I've got this theory that, I don't know if it's right or not. I'll be honest with you, Melanie. I think families sometimes provide you with the greatest challenges in your relationships because they're the people you don't choose. Different people above you may have chosen for you, whoever they are, based on your religious beliefs, but the people you didn't choose. So they're going to teach you so much about yourself, but it doesn't mean they're the right people to give you all the support you need because it's a biased opinion. So you have to find people like Ice One, like yourself, like Xanthi, Gary Nappy, the Gap Counselling, different people in this industry, you know what I mean? And Emma's lovely and, Kareem, there's some beautiful people in this industry. So as a junior crew member, put yourself in that scenario again, you still look like you're a young stewardess, to be honest with you, Melanie. You look like
I am in my 30s. No, I'm not.
What do you advise a young girl who's 20, and we have them on board Unbridled? They join the boat. They're trying to impress people with their jobs and their positivity and all the rest of it. What's your kind of advice looking back, as is in your own scenario?
Cool. That's a good question.
If you're 20, you've just joined a boat, you've got all these things.
I do. I mean, it's hard to say because I think something I say more as a general piece of advice is find your tribe. Like find the people that help you thrive at work. And I often, absolutely. And I actually worked with a series. It was one captain really, and his wife that I worked on a series of boats with, but the blend was right.
Yeah.
And when you find the kind of mentors that really do teach you well and really want the best for you, they will help you thrive in the industry. And I think there's also a thing, it's really hard when you're at the beginning where you think, I will never get another job again. If this is your first job, you'll think, this is the bill, I've worked really hard to get this one. If you don't ever feel safe, if you really go to bed at night and you think, I don't feel safe here, that can be up to like anything from like if you're on a crossing and you don't even trust who's on watch down to there's some form of harassment going on here it's really hard for you get these comments in
the crew mess or
anything. Just like really just like there will be another job, there will be a boat that's right for you. And it's always said with a blend of really measure whether or not, try not to flit around, but finding the right tribe for you is going to be one of the most important things you do. And so when you do find a good boat with good mentors, really take that opportunity because it exists.
Yeah.
It really does exist.
100%. There's a right boat for everyone. And a lot of my conversations with crew over the years, after a year on board where they're kind of getting a bit flat, they're not feeling the motivation, that's when I do say, look, try something different. You can always come back, to Unbridled or the different programs, but try something different, get a fresh break, take some leave without pay, get some space. But Ice One itself, if I am a young stewardess or steward or deckhand and I call up Ice One just on a Friday, everyone's out drinking, what type of, direction or path will be taken? That's kind of the question. Is it just a sounding board, or is it a professional path down towards psychologists? Because the unknown is what people fear, in my experience.
Yeah. Well, I think for a start, it's multilingual. So I think that's an amazing. Obviously, primarily people in yachting are English-speaking people, but you do have people that aren't, and they have multilingual trained people at the end of the phone. So the first barrier that you can tick off is that you're going to be able to have a personal conversation with somebody where you don't have to converse in your non-native language, which is incredible.
Yeah.
The second thing is that they do have a whole list of of resources for support or specific techniques. If I think an example, for example, Laura, who's a project manager at Ice One, explained a call where they had a male deckhand call in and said, I think I'm having a panic attack. I've had them before. I don't know how to kind of get myself through this. And the call handler literally spoke them through the grounding techniques required to get somebody through a panic attack. Now, they're not there as therapists, and they're not, they will often, I think, say, okay, do you understand what's included in your medical insurance? Or if there are things that are quite acute, they know how to direct somebody. But even down to something like that, they've got that on hand and they can support in that way. Much like quite often they have people ringing saying, they're really struggling with an interpersonal relationship on board, for example. Yeah. Or there was a case of I think they were a stewardess, their relationship had closed off and it became really hard for them to work on board, but their ex-partner did not want them to leave, was being quite coercive in them being able to access the feeling that they had the right to leave the boat if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And so it's all down to there's a huge nuance of things that they can handle.
So it's not so much psychotherapy or psychology,
no.
More of a support group.
Yes, a support line. It's there as a supportive ear that then does have the kind of protocols to be able to direct you in the right places, or you can ring back and ask for the same person again. It's also confidential, so
it's outside that network outside that bubble on board where you've the captain, the chief officer. So relationships that could go on for hours, conversations about relationships on board, because that's a very very difficult one, and it's beautiful when it works. It's beautiful. There's nothing. I love couples on board the boat because it's number one, it's two people that get on, and that's always a bonus.
But you want that.
It creates this energy and this homely and this feel that that you can have a normal life. Like when I see couples on the dock at sunset or sitting down there and going for a walk, it empowers me to be better as a captain. Providing a safe space here for people to nurture their professional and their personal relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the other side, when people are in St. Martin and there's parties, or south of France and there's parties, that's when relationships get a bit difficult to manage. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you've got to be a counsellor on the bridge, and I get a knock, and I'm like, okay, all right, all going to be okay. It just takes some time. let's change your roles up a little bit. Let's figure out how we can work together and get some space. You know what I mean? Take holidays separate is what I usually advise to.
That's also such a hard thing, right? It's finding the space. I think that is, in every sense of the word, one of the hardest things about working yachting. Whether or not that's physical space or mental space or whatever it is, it's finding that realignment with who you are amongst what is all encompassing, which is yachting. You can't really have a career in it without it being almost your identity, but you really have to know who you are to not just let it become everything. And
do we ever get there though? Like, you know, like I have this saying, you know, I said, my son, he's 16 now, and he's got this book that I wrote in 1996. Well, it's a book of quotes that when I'd go to school, I'd write these quotes, and we found it the other day and he was going through it. And I was like, wow, this is me going to school when I was like your age, at 17 almost. And I'd write these quotes, and one was, if you don't go within, you go without. And he's like, what does that mean, Dad? I said, well, if you got to keep going in. It doesn't make sense. And you naturally don't want to do that. You want to fight it all the time. You want to just take your problems and push them away and ignore them or deflect them or, you know, distract them and do something else, you know, but you really need to find that core, you know. So at 46 or 47, I'm taking a 5-day yoga retreat to La Paz, Mexico with my mother. I'm terrified, Melanie. I'm terrified right now. I'm looking at a yoga mat going, I've never seen you. Like, I've seen you, but I've never tried. You know what I mean? So that's
I'm intrigued. I can't wait to hear. For a start, I can't wait to hear how you find it.
There's no pictures. That's what I could do.
But also, it's like, I don't do yoga so much anymore. I did for a long time. And running is now my vice, where it's filled in yoga. Yoga used to be there. And it's interesting because I used to be really into like exercise form yoga. But when I started on yachts, I then completely went the other way. And anytime I could get ashore, I wanted to go to yin yoga, where you hold poses for like 3 to 5 minutes.
Lovely.
And you don't move and you do kind of really long, deep stretches. And it's so interesting because the practice itself is theoretically the same. It's yoga. Yeah. But what I required from it was so different, because I needed, in a world where everything was busy and moving and constantly going on board, I needed something that was, slow on my mat. I don't need to go anywhere. Everything is still. And I think I'm really intrigued to hear how it is for you, like, matching that kind of energy, or like finding out what kind of things work for you on the mat that help you go within.
Well, I'm trying to help the crew too, and different people, and just say, look, you know, let's not be afraid of it, because there's nothing but growth. There's nothing but growth available if you really focus your time on things that are actually healthy for you. Like the knockoff beer on the dock, that's not the healthiest option. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest. You know, it's a poison, it's toxins for your body, but it's got its balance too. It's got its social space, and that social interactions are very important. But I find trying to find a community, like you're saying, find your tribe. That's a big takeaway from this. And Ice One can be part of that connectivity. Same as Wave Wellness. What Xanthi's doing and what Seize the Mind are doing are great things for the community of yachting.
Yeah, it's finding your people outside that boat. It's really, and that's ideally what we wanted to, even with just the marathon. Yes, it's only going to run for 3 weeks in the year, but the Strava community consists for the entirety. You know, the then social space online continues until next year. The opportunity for people to find something that's for them, that isn't just hitting the bar when they finally get off charter or whatever, is there. And it's finding those spots.
It's beautiful. And then so long term, going forward, next year, Marathon for Mental Health is going to continue.
Absolutely. Hoping that, you know, the first year is all about trying to make sure people know it exists. And hopefully next year we just see it build and kind of get bigger and more crew involved. But I think we've got 10 days left. And so in the aim of trying to get as many people at least at this point, it's too late to do really the full marathon, but in the aim of getting more people involved, we're going to do a 5K in one day, ideally, on the 29th of October, and try and have as many crew as possible.
Lovely.
Commit to do 5K.
29th of October, what time?
Yeah. Wherever you are in the world, which means if you are in New Zealand or you are in Seattle or you are, that you can do it at your time, but for a 24-hour period, do 5K, ideally donate either £50 or £500 to Ice One, and we'll try and create another opportunity for people to feel part of it within that marathon window.
And that's on the 29th, correct?
Yes, 29th of October.
All right, well, I'll be in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to the boat show
Great.
for 2 nights. So I'll try and round up some
Love
troops.
it. Round up the troops.
I'll try and round up for a little 5K down Fort Lauderdale.
I definitely know that the MHG marathoners, as they're called, their team, would be well up for that.
Okay. But they're all proper. They're pretty serious. I'm just
they're really serious. But, all folks are welcome, I would say.
All that getting out there. My brother got me into running, and it's tough on your body. And the older you get, it is tough. But it's that consistency, whether it's running, biking, walking. It's that ability to move forward and take that conscious effort, take that conscious step, saying there is a goal. It's difficult. Can I go forward and do this? Yeah,
absolutely.
My first one
not
was
being afraid to walk.
Yeah, true. That's all. My wife's doing it with me as well. Like she's,
I love that.
With reduced crew, it was kind of tough because we had like 6-7 crew that were good runners, and I was like, yes, I'm excited. And all of a sudden, the crew are on different projects, and we're wintering in Seattle, and I'm like, it's just me again. I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I got my wife, I got my dog involved. I'm like, come on, guys, let's go, family. Let's.
Well, you never know. You might be able to get if you do a walk, a WhatsApp call with another member of the community on a walk. Yeah. That's great.
All right,
That's
Melanie,
great.
I really appreciate your time. Like I said, you've been an absolute. I don't think you understand yet how much you've created a positive influence and change in the industry, in the current environment we're in, because it's people like you that stand up and say, let's do this, let's do something different, let's give back. And that empowers people to be better. And in the end of the day, if we can do that as a community, we're in a good direction, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Liam.
So I love your tribe. I love your people. I think it's unbelievable. Is there any final notes or how people can get a hold of you, Seize the Mind?
So a legacy from my yacht chefing days, I am Cooking the Nook on Instagram, though I don't do much cooking other than for my family anymore. And I do the Seize the Mind there, and also Marathon _mental health.
Yeah.
On those are the Instagram platforms. I'm also on LinkedIn, and you can also find us in Strava. So find the club, join us. Everyone's welcome. And it's always nice to see what everyone is up to and what views they're seeing on their run, walk, hikes.
Yeah, it's a good global snapshot. But the other day I tried to take a video of me running, and I looked back, I'm like, that's not a good way to do it.
No, we love it. We love it.
It was all shaky, and I was like, I don't know if this is right. I don't get all this, but it's about having fun and connecting.
It is. It is.
All right, this is Captain Liam Devlin. Have a safe day. Be blessed always. Look after each other and safe seas.
If your brand belongs in the heart of the yachting world, this is where it happens. Yachting International Radio reaches over 1 million yachting professionals and enthusiasts every month with 77 million impressions, 220,000 social followers, and 74,000 podcast subscribers. Our hosts are insiders, crew, captains, CEOs, trusted voices shaping the industry. This is targeted, high-impact advertising in a luxury niche. Visit yachtinginternationalradio.com/